Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. Today's channeling is about intuition. I'm speaking to someone who has been considering, some of the challenges around perhaps stepping forward and getting engaged, getting involved in some kind of offering, where they would be using their intuition to, let's say, channel for the collective. So if this resonates with you, you consider yourself a part of the collective, and at this time in your life, you have what feels like a big decision to make, like a call. Something has come up and you're not sure what to do, and this decision, it's put you in this place where perhaps your intuition has told you what to do, but then you doubt it because the situation, the circumstances are a little bit tricky, and I suspect complicated and high stakes is what's coming up. So I'm actually chuckling a little bit to myself because I just received such a lovely comment, and I read it just before this. It says, "Babe, I don't think you need the cards anymore. You've got the voice of spirit. Thank you." I love this comment, and thank you to Anna Sinks for saying that. But I think sometimes when someone like me shares these channeled messages, it comes across as though my intuition is always crystal clear and, I got this, and that it's always simple, straightforward, and just flows right through me. Well, technically that is the case. However, this human experience means that there are constantly things that trigger me, for example, into fear. And so calming my mind and calming my body are very important. With that said, what I want to bring up here for you is channeling for the collective is not only about reaching an audience. I do believe it has an impact when you reach an audience because you get to reach more people, and then there's the ripple effect. Each of those people reach more people. It strengthens the knowing within the collective. I do believe that, and it helps with the collective transformation. However, irrespective of whether anyone hears what you're saying, when you open a container and read or channel for the collective, using your voice, your intuition starts to practice hearing what your spirit is saying with your voice. It's like a form of instant integration as you channel or read and share, not just your own energy. Like if I start a reading and I'm on my own and I read for myself, I just don't get as much information as when I channel for all of you. I have no guarantees that every single message that I share will have the same reach as, the last one or a lot of people. I never have any guarantee. And I'm starting to think that that's actually not even the point. For example, if I have, let's say, 500 or 1,000 views on a video, the fact that I have actually done this work, if that reading or video that I share reaches 2 people, at the time of reading, I already have all the information that I want. I already set the intention to reach that number of, whatever number of people reach it. But the most important person that it needs to reach is me. The most important person that channeled message needs to reach is me. And so here I'm not speaking to, let's say, someone who is focused on, let's say, starting a business doing this kind of work. Okay? I'm having one of those moments where I thought I was channeling for all of you and I realize I may be channeling for myself, but let's just put that aside. I am saying that it's not always about the business. And so this piece of information, this decision, is an example of a situation where you could, okay, just for mental purposes, perhaps you do want to, I've got this weird feeling in my left arm. Perhaps you do want to just register a YouTube channel. What I'm saying to you is it actually doesn't matter, okay, for purposes of personal guidance, it actually doesn't matter if nobody sees your messages. I'd like to invite you to read for the collective, okay, or to channel messages for the collective. There are ways that you see yourself where you don't actually quite see the kind of impact your spirit can have on your life clearly. When you look in the mirror, you see one person. Okay, you see one person, and when you look at yourself in the mirror, you actually also see somehow all your flaws, all of your shortcomings. Okay? That is not how your spirit sees you. And therefore, that is not how your spirit will engage you. That is not how your spirit will choose to share information with you. And so, however imperfectly you see yourself, okay, when you think about yourself, when you consider your abilities, when you consider all the things you've done and the things you have not done, that is not how your spirit sees you. Okay, and when you step into a space with the intention of reading for the collective, you're stepping into a platform of service. You're not stepping into a platform of self-scrutiny, of self-criticism, of performance. You are there in service of the collective, and a very, very beneficial byproduct is the information that you get to retrieve. There's something that happens mentally when you just read for yourself. When you lay out cards, and I speak from experience, when you just lay out cards in front of you and explore. Okay, exploring and engaging and speaking are very different. Your eyes can wander all around the cards, and the inner voice can also speak, but the inner voice does not have the power to start, engage in, and complete a heard sentence. A heard sentence. As soon as you speak it, it's in the 3D. It's in the 3D. It starts to work on the matter, not just the situation. When I say matter, I'm referring to material stuff. I actually had this conversation with my mother the other day. My mother doesn't read cards. My mother is a human being with a strong intuition. Has her confidence around her intuition always been this strong? I don't think so. I think that she's always known and always suspected, but the level to which she's engaging her intuition right now is just not the same as before. And so that does not make her any different in that sense to me, other than that I have made this my work. I was chatting to her the other day, and she was talking about how strong her prayers are. You see, when a person prays out loud, they get to acknowledge that that prayer actually happened. It actually happened. They connected with their heart. They made a request. They voiced it. They posted their letter. And then that means that when that letter is responded to, they're able to recognize it. Okay, and not just that. When you give your intuition a voice and a landing, a place for it to land, the collective will feel your words irrespective of whether they see your reading on YouTube or not. That's actually what this just made me so emotional. That is the message. That is the message. For months, I have done readings here and there, asking this audience to step forward in service of the collective, to use their solar plexus energy and show up for themselves, and etc. And something that's been in my blind spot is that not everyone wants to do this as work. First of all, that was my lens, perhaps. But what I'm learning right now is that for those of you who are listening to me right now who need some more particular guidance in your life, like if in your life you feel like you're at a point where you need guidance, you're being called to step up and show up for yourself for no other reason but to serve the collective. There are two things that are coming up. Number one is that you get the answers that you need, and you believe them because they came from your spirit. When you listen back to yourself, okay, and your voice is important here. This is action energy. This is throat chakra energy. Okay, and that works with writing as well. It works with writing. But I'm referring to now, engaging in your own reading and engaging in your own channeled messages and grounding your own intuition and putting it in a place where you can observe it, either by listening or by reading. For example, out loud, my right ear just went like the pressure was just, they were saying, say it out loud. Okay, they want you to actually speak it. And so even if you write it, they want you to read it out. They want it out of your voice. Okay, because there's something that happens. They're showing me something that happens from it looks like Kundalini energy. It comes from your root and it moves through your creation center, your sacral, and it moves through your solar plexus and then through your heart. So you feel it, and then out of your throat means that it's happened. And so that means that it's actually already happened. So you've spoken it into existence. Okay. And I have shared a video, I think I loaded it a couple of months ago onto the memberships channel. It's also on Patreon. It's about the mechanics of manifestation without effort or force. And often I've seen it, and I'm linking this to the message I was sharing with you about the conversation I had with my mother. I've seen it where perhaps I get an intuitive nudge to review something, a matter in my life that is pending, let's call it. If I read up on it, if I do a reading on it, or I write about it, something happens very, very soon after that. That is one of the reasons why I know that speaking works and that our words are powerful, and they're saying they are amplified when you speak it out loud. They are amplified. I have seen it when I do a reading here for the collective, and then I close the container, go wash my hands, come back, start another reading. I observe the development from the last reading to the next one. Okay, I see the difference in the cards. Sometimes it's the position of a card that has shifted from, let's say, the sacral chakra all the way up to the throat. I see it in various ways. I see the development, and I know that if I had waited to do that first reading, let's say the next day, I would have got the first reading the next day. And if I waited 4 days to do the next reading, I wouldn't get the same reading, because there's only one way through, and that is through. Okay? And what they're showing me is like the cumulative power that you harness from the collective when you read for the collective. And again, the collective does not have to hear you with their human ears. Part of the reason why I am able to receive the information that I receive, let's say, depending on whether it resonates with you, on behalf of the collective, on behalf of all of you, is because there are many in the collective. And perhaps then the ones of you that actually listen to pyramid energy, it's more resonance based and soul family based, and I like Khunzi's voice based. I like how she words things based. I like how she interprets various things. Okay, things around authenticity and action, creativity, all of that. Those are skills that I've learned through practice. It's not even a skill. Authenticity is not a skill. It's a nature. And so this is just how I've evolved over time through reading and showing up. But that's more of an action sort of creativity development than it is how do I connect with my intuition development. Another thing is that I have got to know myself, my performance voice. I'm going to call it a performance voice, not because I step on here and I'm actively performing and I get dressed up and I am a completely different person to how I usually am. But actually, I'm not exactly the same as the way I sound when I'm speaking to you. With that said, and just to take away the performance sort of connotations here, and the, stepping out of authenticity, sort of real authenticity, I think there's now, it's 2026, we're in a space of what we could probably call authentic authenticity, because authenticity can be performed. We've seen it many times. Maybe our third eyes have seen it many times, is rather what I should say. But if I'm speaking to someone, let's say we're having a drink or a cup of coffee and we're chatting and the conversation starts to flow, and there are times I slip into channeling without even realizing it. Many people do that. Many people who don't even consider themselves channelers do that. More and more now, again, it's 2026, more and more now people are slipping into flow without even realizing it. And then afterwards they'll stop and pause and say, I don't even know where that came from. I've heard it from people, let's say, who won't even touch cards. And then this voice that I'm speaking to you with now is the voice that if I listen back sort of in my, quick replay, this voice is the voice that comes out. And I believe that this voice that develops from using your voice, develops your resonance. It develops the authority with which you begin to channel. And so this video is not just about intuition. This video is about developing a more authentic relationship with your intuition. The word authentic is also coming up for me here. Is that not about writing? Automatic? Self? Yes. Okay, I'm hearing like an author is a writer, and auto is about self. Okay, and so authenticity is very much about writing yourself as you speak. As you speak from the true self, you hear the authentic voice, the true voice that comes from inside of you, the one that is so authentic you can believe it. Okay, and so then you are no longer balancing fear versus love, because it is what it is. And so you are pulling, drawing, channeling facts, real facts. It's actually quite a shocker that we, in this matrix, in this real world, in this physical world, and this system, that you kind of speak of authenticity and you speak of real and you speak of facts, and you need to qualify that you mean the real. But with that said, I do believe that this happens at times. I am guilty of it. And let's say I am calling it out in the room, where you know that you have such a strong intuition. You know how well your intuition serves others. But then you find yourself stuck in your own thoughts, needing answers for yourself, feeling like you need to get those answers from elsewhere. I've been there. I visit there frequently. And so this is an invitation to understand better the reasons for using the solar plexus when you're channeling. By using the solar plexus, I mean by showing up and actually speaking your intuition out loud, so that you can hear, so that you can firstly practice, become more confident. This is solar plexus energy. Become more confident taking action on your own intuition so that you can hear what's going on. If you have cards, you lay those cards out and you speak out loud what you're seeing. Record yourself. You don't have to post anything. Record yourself. Then listen to your voice tell you what you read. Let's call it a trick, because sometimes you need to, as you practice, let's not say need, as you practice this practice, it can be helpful to bypass that mirror point where you are reading for yourself. I say this because I don't know what it's like to be another channeler. I have never sat in someone else's body and mind and heart to channel. I have only experienced it in mine. And to this day, the guidance I receive from this channel is not the same as the guidance that I receive on my own. The longer I stay away from the channel, the more distanced I feel from that waterfall of guidance. I do get guidance outside of the channel. I do get guidance when I'm not here. I do get it. I do. But when I journal it, I may read in my journal. I may never revisit my journal after writing. And when I do revisit what's in my journal, unless something has come true, the human in me still doubts. But if I listen to something that I have recorded and I listen to my voice and I know that I read for the collective, I can go by that information. And I always do. And in closing this piece, what they're wanting me to share with you is that when you channel for the collective, you are not just channeling the voice of your own higher self. You are channeling like 1 million voices, more, gazillion. I don't know how many people we have on this earth. 8 billion? It's not even. You're pulling from all of those voices of those that connect with their intuition and beyond. You are channeling all of that, but in your language and your tone and your context. We learn every day. And I want to circle back to that comment that was left for me. And, those kinds of comments are very humbling. But I also want to share with you how humbling it is to channel what I do for the collective. Because when I connect with the power of my own voice, it's beyond me. It's so beyond me that I have such respect for the work that I do. When I do this work, I may play around, but I don't mess around. I take it very seriously because I do not trust any other voice as much as I trust my own. And so to betray my voice and to betray the spirit that serves me would be remiss of me. I respect my work so much. But with that respect comes the kind of sort of scaffolding that allows me to play, because if my spirit says play, I play. That's what gives me the freedom to even, use swear words here and there. Just because I don't see any of those rules being set with my spirit. I also, if I want to veer off into a topic that feels like it's a bit out there, I take the liberty because it's flowing through me. And I don't think that the spirit has any limits. I believe that the limits that we experience are set by ourselves. One example is my relationship with cards. Cards do provide me with a kind of scaffolding, I feel, but there is nothing like just channeling. There's nothing that feels like just channeling. Simply because on the other side, I listen to myself and I'm like, how did I get there? That's every time. And with each time I do that, something happens in my solar plexus. It develops. But with that, each time I consider how much I feel I grew in the last run, it challenges my solar plexus. And so I'm sharing all of this. I mean, this doesn't feel like my usual kind of message, but I'm sharing all of this so that, to dispel any misconceptions that, let's say, if you're considering, let's say, me, again, I can't speak for anyone else, any misconceptions that this is just always easy. If I was a perfectly grounded individual with no worries in my life, with no unexpected activity cropping up here and there and everywhere on some days, and I didn't have responsibilities and I didn't interact with other people where I need to keep filtering my energy and just remembering who I am, perhaps then I would be a tree. It's like that. And so I'm going to leave this here. And I want to share how much I appreciate you all. I want you to know to never doubt your own intuition. Do not doubt it, because when I read here, I am receiving somehow messages from the place that you leave your thoughts and your feelings. One heart, one mind. And you'll see that it will also affect how you view yourself in the mirror. It will shift how you view yourself in the mirror. It will. While it is never expected, I appreciate all of the support that I get on this channel. If you're looking for ways to support it, I've left details below. Sending you all so much love.